What is up, NFC East football fans, and welcome into another edition of the NFC East Roundtable powered by BetUS. Week 5 is in the books, and we turn the page to Week 6 as we preview all of the Week 6 matchups for the NFC East. And in order to do that, we got to bring in the fellas, Rio, KB, and Eagle Al. Jake Tuck will not be with us this evening, but don't worry, we will be previewing that Detroit Lions and Dallas Cowboys game because that is sure to be one of the better games of the day. But we're going to start in the 1 p.m. window, and I can't believe I'm saying it's the 1 p.m. window because that's criminal. This game should be the primetime matchup on Sunday. NBC tried to pull it off, but CBS said, no way, this game's way too good. We're keeping it for ourselves. It's the Commanders at 4-1 taking on the 3-2 Baltimore Ravens. Man, I can't wait for this one, fellas. Right now over on BetUS, and I feel like Rio's going to feel some type of way about this. The Commanders over a full touchdown underdog on the road at the bank against Lamar Jackson and company. Pretty big spread, but don't let it fool you. This game should be a great one. You can tell by the over-under. That is the highest over-under of the entire week, or tied for it. So points are expected, and of course they are when Jaden Daniels is going up against Lamar Jackson. All the Week 6 lines, by the way, are up on BetUS. If you want to get in on the action, promo code YouTube150. That'll get you a 150% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 on your first deposit and 125% bonus on your next 2 deposits after that. All right, let's dive into this game. Al, it's Jaden Daniels. He's looking like the rookie of the year. It's Lamar coming off 3 straight victories, making one of the best plays of the year last weekend to pull off that improbable victory over Cincinnati. This game's going to be awesome. The question is, how do you see it going down?
Offensive game for sure. I think it's going to be high scoring. We're probably going to see little to no defense. I don't think the Ravens got the best defense right now, or Washington. So I'll say about 35-31 Baltimore. It's going to be close.
What was it again? 35?
35-31.
And I thought I heard you right. I wanted to make sure because that's the type of game I'm hoping for. I know Rio probably, I don't know what you're hoping for, Rio. I'm sure you want a good game on top of a W, but I know for me, I just want to sit back and watch these two work on either side of the ball, and I'm hoping it's high scoring. KB, I know you're probably hoping for a great game too, but what do you think's going to wind up going down in this one?
Yeah, I mean, I want the Baltimore Ravens to smoke them 77-0. But however, I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of a shootout, a little bit of a nail biter to the end. You know, I'm a football fan too, so I think this is a great matchup. This is a great test for Washington to see what they really are, because like Rio said, and when we did the live stream, you only play who's on your schedule. You know, you can't really help that. And they've done a really good job with those who are on their schedule prior to this game. And going into this is obviously probably their most toughest game so far. And this is going to be a really good test. Baltimore has had a really good season so far, besides that stinker versus the Raiders, which, I mean, no, I'm sure Baltimore fans don't want to talk about at all. I mean, the rest of their season just seems like, I mean, the Ravens. So I'm interested to see how this is going to go. Let's see if the Commanders defense can, I mean, they've been playing pretty well up to this point. Can they hold Lamar Jackson and everything he's been doing, all the craziness he's been doing this season? And can the Baltimore Ravens finally shut down Jaden Daniels? We talk about it every week. You watch this Cliff Kingsbury offense. It's so good for Jaden Daniels. He's a perfect fit. There has to be a defense to come along and stop it. I don't know if that's the Ravens. That's why I kind of feel like this will be a sort of a shootout. This is not the Raiders. This is not the Wink Martindale Ravens defense. This is something not as good. And Marlon Humphrey isn't as good anymore, and so on and so forth. So I would love to see the Ravens smoke them, but I feel like this would be a pretty good game. And shout out to the Giants taking that Sunday Night Football game away from the Commanders. We don't want to see you guys in the lights anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna have the Ravens winning this one. I think the Commanders lose this one, but not a discouraging loss at all. I don't think it's going to be a discouraging one. I think the Ravens lose this one, but the Commanders still have. The Ravens win this one, but the Commanders still have their head up high going into the next week. So I'll say like I'll say like 30-24 Ravens.
All right, Rio, here we go. Little did we all know that going into week 6, we'd be talking game of the week type territory for these Washington Commanders. This is going to be, regardless of how it goes, I feel like you're watching the future against what has been the present for some time and two-time MVP winning Lamar Jackson. It's going to be a show, and I think that's what most people expect here. That's why, of course, NBC tried to flex it. You do know the stat, though, I'm sure. Lamar Jackson. He's next to unstoppable against the NFC. He cannot lose to the NFC. Can he lose on Sunday to an NFC opponent, Rio?
He absolutely can, but I know he's 22-1 versus the conference.
Who's the only team? Who's the only team?
Giants. The Giants are the only team that
just wanted to put that out there.
Lamar Jackson. Yes, he's not. He's won his last 9 in a row versus the NFC. He's 22-1. The Giants were the only one to find a way to stop him. But I'm looking at this matchup, and this is a very winnable game for my Washington Commanders, who expected it to feel that way. You're getting a primetime matchup. You're getting the future versus the right now on Sunday. Jaden Daniels versus Lamar Jackson. Roquan Smith said Jaden does some nice things with his legs, but he hasn't run into a defense like ours yet. And to that, I say the 19th overall defense in the league, the 31st ranked pass defense in the league. Every number 1 wide receiver they face have got off on him. Jamar Chase, 193 and 2 touchdowns. Even Higgins had 90 and 2 touchdowns. Rashee Rice, over 100 touchdowns week 1. Devontae Adams, over 100 yards and a touchdown. CeeDee Lamb was held to 70, but Ferguson went for about 100 yards and a touchdown on him. That defense can be had through the air. And while they have the number 1 rush defense in the league, we're the number 2 rushing team in the league. We're playing against the number 1 rushing team with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. But you got to stop a 4-headed rushing attack in Washington. Our 3 running backs, Brian Robinson Jr., Austin Eckler, Jeremy McNichols, and the quarterback. The quarterback is giving you the 60 yards on the ground that the Ravens give up each week. The Ravens haven't had to face a real rushing attack yet. Chase Brown and Zach Moss, Isaiah Pacheco, Zamir White and Alexander Madison. James Cook, y'all running game is a little bit of something, but they dogged the Buffalo. I don't know what y'all were on that night on Sunday Night Football, but y'all didn't come to play. But they haven't seen an offense like us yet. They got a little taste with Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow and company last week. But the over-under is high on this game for a reason. Washington is the only team in the league that scored 150 points so far, 155. The Ravens are number 2 at 147. So expect a shootout of all sorts. Lamar was on his best bullshit last week versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Player of the week for a reason. Jaden Daniels, he's stacking up accolades each week. 4 of the 5 weeks of the season, he's won Offensive Rookie of the Week. He's won Player of the Week. He's won FedEx Air and Ground Player of the Week. He even won the Nickelodeon MVP so far. Our guy's one of the faces of the league already. I got Washington going to M&T Bank Stadium and winning 31-30 on a game-winning Jaden Daniels drive and an Austin Seibert field goal. Y'all are not going to want me on this roundtable anymore if we go up to Baltimore and start 5-1 for the first time since '96, but especially considering we got the Panthers, Bears, and Browns after this one. So don't let us get the 5-1. No, the Panthers, Bears, and KB's Giants after this one. So don't let us get the 5-1, y'all.
These boys might not want you on here. I certainly will, because we're going to get a rare breed of Rio if that winds up going down. Cannot wait for that game. Let's stick in the 1 p.m. window on Sunday. Philadelphia Eagles coming off the bye week. The Cleveland Browns coming off another disaster, and they've been stringing one after the other after the other. They're already 0-3 against the NFC East this season, and the Philadelphia Eagles are looking to make it 0-4. Right now on BetUS, the Eagles are a 9.5-point home favorite. That just goes to show you. I don't know if the Eagles have played well enough to earn 9.5 points of a favorite. That just goes to show you how bad the Cleveland Browns are right now. They're expected to get blown out, KB. Is that what you expect to see on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, I fully expect the Eagles to rebound there. I believe they're getting their wide receiving core back and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, so that's going to be a big help to their offense. They clearly didn't get anything done against the Buccaneers without those two guys there, and they really couldn't move the ball through the air with that. So I fully expect, and this is a Cleveland Browns team that has a good defense, but with their offense being one of the worst in the league, if not the worst offense in the league, there's just not much the defense can do after that. So this has to be, we said it on the stream, I fully expect the Eagles to win this game, and this has to be a blowout. Just by the track record the Browns have in the NFC East right now, you're kind of forced to kind of send a message to the NFL and send a message to yourselves that you can beat an easy team like this, like the Cleveland Browns. Like they're on their knees right now. They're waiting to get put out their misery, and the Eagles are there foaming at the mouth looking for an easy win. So I fully expect this to be a blowout. This has to be like a 30, I want to say like 34-13, 34-10 type of game. I could see that being the case, but it has to be something like that. If you beat the Cleveland Browns 20-17, things ain't gonna be looking good in Philadelphia. I'll tell you that much. So we'll see what happens.
Rio, there's just no way Philly loses this game, right?
They have no business losing this game to the Cleveland Browns. The Dallas Cowboys put them in the casket. The Giants carried the casket out the church. We put them in the ground, and it's time for the Eagles to put dirt over them because the whole division took care of business. They're going to muck it up early. Myles Garrett recorded not a single stat. I don't know how many times he's done that in his career, coming off a reigning Defensive Player of the Year season. They're getting Nick Chubb back. Early on, it'll look close-ish because that's not an awful football team on the other side of the field. But Philly is going to be at its peak superpowers with their guys back, Lane Johnson, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith. I'm expecting a 31-10 type victory for the Eagles, where early on, the Browns may get up a touchdown, 7-7, 10-7 type stuff, but I expect Jalen Hurts and the Eagles to get right, because if they can't blow out the Cleveland Browns, it may be a long time coming before we see the Eagles clicking on all cylinders again. 31-10 Philly.
Al, the Eagles are set up to blow out the Browns here. They're healthy coming off the bye. Lane Johnson back. You got Devontae Smith back, A.J. Brown back. They're primed to take them behind the shed like everybody else seemingly has this season. So in your opinion, is that what happens, or are you a little bit concerned about maybe a letdown here?
No, we should definitely win this game 34-10. I mean, the offense should be clicking. You get your guys back, Lane Johnson, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown. The only thing I'm worried about is how is this defense going to work? Like Rio said, they get Nick Chubb back. Do we stop the run? Do this defensive line finally get pressure? So there'd just be things as a fan and I guess as an analyst I'm looking at, but we should easily win this game 34-10.
So everybody's predicting the blowout for the Eagles. So you know what happens. Deshaun Watson
jinx
come out and look like the Houston Deshaun Watson, and he'll go back to
want to see, baby.
I hope not.
It's going to be crab legs. Jameis going to get in there and start rocking.
Deshaun Watson legacy game right here, baby. Come on.
I got to tell you, Al, I think you're fine based on what I've seen from Cleveland. I don't know how the hell anybody loses to them right now. Let's go to the 4:25 p.m. window. One of the games of the day. This should be a great game. You got the Detroit Lions coming off of their bye week as well, and Dallas comes off that narrow margin victory on the last play of the game, essentially, over the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Dallas Cowboys right now on BetUS are a 3-point dog at home against the Detroit Lions. Rio, I'll start with you here. Don't know if we know what the Lions are quite yet. It feels like the Cowboys might just be a worse version of last year. We always seem to know what we get from Dallas, but they're usually better in the regular season. They haven't looked like that early on. So what winds up happening in Dallas this upcoming weekend?
I think, to be honest, I think the Lions are probably looking down at the rest of the conference. I think realistically, they're going to be one of the teams that is the final team standing in this conference. And I don't know if I believe a Sam Darnold football team is going to win the NFC. So I think the class of the conference is the Lions. They were a couple unnecessary, ballsy decisions by Dan Campbell from the Super Bowl last year. They blew it in the fourth quarter, the same way they did versus Dallas in a very important game to close out the season, one of the final weeks of the season last year. I believe Dallas has won 6 in a row versus Detroit, but this version of Detroit is different. They got some get back to get on Dallas. I think it's going to be a shootout type ball game, similar to what we're going to see in Baltimore tomorrow on Sunday. I think Detroit's going to edge them out. I think it's going to be something about 33-27. Detroit Lions win that one. I love their running game with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Jamison Williams is finally coming on as a consistent target opposite Amon-Ra St. Brown. And Aiden Hutchinson looks like your defensive player of the year. He's going to make enough plays in this game to make Dakota make some mistakes. Give me 33-27 Detroit. I need Dallas to lose this one.
KB, talk to me. Who gets it done in Dallas?
Yeah, I think you were right when you said we don't really know what we have in Detroit yet, and it's kind of the same thing with Dallas. It's kind of hard to gauge where they're at as a team because they kind of had some really good games, really bad games at that as well. But however, I feel like they're trending in different directions. I feel like Dallas is kind of moving down. I think Detroit is kind of working their way up. So that's how I'm going to have it in this game. I think Rio was absolutely right. I think Detroit is going to be the team to beat in the NFC. And so I think they get on track here versus the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think this will be a shootout. I really don't. I don't believe Dallas has a high-powered offense. I know they kind of worked their way back. They fought their way back against Baltimore, but couldn't get it done. But it was just 25 points. I mean, it's nothing crazy. I think Detroit can threaten 40 on your head on any team. They're just that good as an offense all around the board. So I'm going to take Detroit to. I think it's going to start slower, but I think Detroit's going to start to run away with it. I think this would be somewhere around I'm going to say like a 27-17 type game, but I think it'll be close from the start to like the third quarter and the fourth quarter. They'll start to, move away from that.
Al, how you feeling about this game between the Lions and the Cowboys?
I don't think this game going to be close. I think it's going to be like about 33-20. The reason why is because the Dallas Cowboys are dealing with injuries. Do Micah Parsons come back or not? I'm not really sure. I think there's a lot of fool's gold stuff going on. A lot of people think this game going to be close because what they did against the Steelers.
Right.
But the Steelers had no offense. So them going up against the Lions who like to run the ball, it's going to be one of those Saints type games. They just going to run it. Jared Goff might throw it like 15 times and that's it. And they going to make Dallas look bad. And it's going to be like a reality check that Dallas is just not that good this year. And they got too many injuries right now.
Let's go to Sunday Night Football, the game everyone wants underneath the lights, right? Everybody can't wait to watch this one. I know KB.
Oh, baby, come on, right time.
All sarcasm aside, though, this is a big game. If the Bengals lose, I mean, I don't really know how you come back from 1-4, 1-5. I don't know where the argument is. I mean, anything can happen, but man, I don't know how you dig out of that hole. If the Giants win here, they're at 500, and things get really interesting in the NFC East. Not that they already aren't, but things get interesting when you get smoked week 1 against the Vikings to come back and be at 500. I don't know if anybody saw that coming from the New York Giants, the way they look to start the year off. So, Rio, what do you see going down at MetLife Sunday night? Bengals are looking good, but they can't seem to pull it out at the end. Joe Burrow last week, he's unreal. Do you think that they can go into MetLife and finally put it together? Do the Giants got something going here?
The Bengals offense looks phenomenal. Their offense, Joe Burrow is playing possibly the best quarterback anyone in the league is doing right now. He's going nuts. 12 touchdowns, the 2 interceptions through the first 5 weeks of the season. I've seen it personally. We didn't get him off the field one time. They missed a field goal, but they didn't punt or turn it over the entire night versus us. So I've seen firsthand what that offense can do. But on the other side of the ball, they couldn't stop they couldn't stop a cold, a heart attack, a panic attack. They couldn't stop anything. They look awful on the defensive side of the ball. And part of my head wants to say, maybe the Giants wins, they do a fire sale. We can go get a guy like T. Higgins. We go get a guy like one of their cornerbacks. We go get somebody from their secondary. But I can't see Joe Burrow losing under the lights to Daniel Jones. As well as the Giants have looked versus superior competition in weeks versus the Cowboys or versus the Seahawks, I think this is a different breed on that offense. I think it's going to be a shootout, though, because Daniel Jones, hopefully they get Neighbors back this week. I don't know. Is Neighbors good? I saw him at the Travis Scott concert last night. Is he cleared from the concussion protocol?
He's still in concussion protocol. So right now, Giants Twitter is going insane because he's not practicing. He's on concussion protocol and he's at a stadium. So I don't know. I mean, at a concert.
Let that boy live his life.
Exactly what I'm saying. Is like, bro, he went to a concert. Relax.
He had the dark shades on, so
exactly.
He's doing what he needs to do. People need to relax. By the way, that New York media and y'all fans.
Let me tell you, man. Oh my God, it's insufferable.
I got the Cincinnati Bengals. Their defense, the Giants' defense is better than most. So I don't got them scoring as much as before. But give me the Bengals 27 to the Giants 21. 6-point ball game. Let me get them hanging in there because I've seen just how ass that Cincinnati defense is. So I think the Giants do enough to hang in and give their home fans something to cheer for. But Joe Cool is going to steal the soul from that defense on one of the later drives in the fourth quarter. Give me 27-21 Cincy.
By the way, forgot to mention on BetUS right now, the spread's only 3.5. The Giants are a 3.5 point dog at home right now. Al, how do you see it going down on Sunday night?
31-21 Bengals. And the reason why is because I think it's going to be one of those games where the Giants might shoot themselves in the foot, meaning like they just going to have some random turnover and they just don't have enough offensive power to catch up. If Malik Neighbors play, the game might be a little closer, but if he don't, it's going to be that 21-31 score. Is because the Bengals offense is extraordinary. Like, it's really good. It's just that defense. But if that defense just make a play or two, they get some type of turnover or get the Giants to punt the ball, the Bengals win this game.
KB, talk to me, baby. How do the Giants get to 500 on Sunday night?
Listen to me. We've been doubted before. We're going into the Seahawks game. No Devin Singletary, no Malik Neighbors. They still went out there and had their best offensive performance they've had this year without their top two scorers. I'm going into this game saying the Giants have no reason to lose. We haven't been good at home as far as recently. This is where you turn it around. Daniel Jones hasn't been good in prime time. This is where you turn it around. Joe may be cool, but Daniel Jones is cooler, baby. Come on. Without Malik Neighbors, I hope Malik Neighbors plays in this game.
Boy's feeling good.
I don't know how he's in concussion protocol still, missing a game and still in concussion protocol. I don't know if there's any improvement, any progress. They've been really vague with it. I'm hoping they're hiding it on purpose. So he's just a late addition to the team, like some NFL teams do. So I'm hoping Dable pulls a little bit of a Belichick and does something like that. And Malik is all good and ready to go. But listen, I'm confident in this team. The Giants I think nobody knows this. The Giants lead the NFL in sacks right now with 22 sacks. And by the way, those 22 sacks aren't just coming from the defensive line. Dexter has 6 of those sacks. Kayvon and Brian Burns are a minority when it comes to the full amount of players. 11 players on that defense have at least 1 sack. So they are getting after the quarterback in creative ways. Shane Bowen, although I hate Vic Fangio style defenses, I hate soft zone, I hate 4-man rushes, but in that regard, Shane Bowen has had adjustments in individual games, blitzing off-ball linebackers, blitzing nickels, blitzing safeties. He's doing all of that. He's confusing the offense, and he's getting after the quarterback. The Giants in the past, I believe, 3 games have 16 sacks. That also leads the NFL. They sacked, I believe they sacked Cleveland. Deshaun Watson 8 times. They sacked Geno Smith 7 times. And with Joe Burrow there, that offensive line has been known to absolutely do Joe Burrow no justice in years prior. So we'll see how that shapes up. But like I said, the Giants have no reason to lose this game. Go ahead and turn things around. Nobody's going to believe in you. Everybody is still trying to hold on hopes that Joe Burrow and the Bengals are still good. But this is where we put the nail in the coffin. This is where we twist the knife and say, good riddance, Bengals, in 2024. The Giants win this game. I'm going to say a close game, 24-20. The Giants are going to win this game and get to 500 and still are in this race in the NFC East.
I love it. There you have it, baby. The week 6 picks are locked in. I cannot wait for next week when we recap week 6 because we have some good games in store in this division. On your way out the door, like button if you could, subscribe button so that way you're notified of that upcoming episode recapping this upcoming week 6 slate. And on your way out the door, YouTube 150, the promo code on BetUS. It gets you 150% sign-up bonus, up to $2,000 on your first deposit, 125% sign-up bonus on your next 2 after that. For Rio, KB, Al, and Jay Tuck, who will be back with us next week, I'm your host, Z-Bot. Thank you for tuning into the NFC East Roundtable, and we'll see you on the next one.
Don't let us win this game.